Hey Warpugs, today we're going to be checking out something a little bit different. This is Bricky's review of Shootas, Blood, and Teef. And this was requested by the absolutely loyal Space Marine, who is absolutely not affiliated with any sort of heretical nonsense whatsoever. But, God, how long ago was I introduced to Bricky? I mean, it was back when he was talking about Nip Nip that I was introduced to Bricky. So it's really interesting to see how, it's amazing to see how far he's progressed in his own thing. I'm hoping to be doing the same thing too. I had a lot of conversations today that were kind of like, I'm going to be doing something in the future that I think is going to be pointing myself in the right direction for what I want to do. So, all that being said, let's get into this. Shootas, Blood, and Teef review. I know that this is about orcs. 100% I know it's about orcs. Past that, I know nothing. Alright, here we go. Let's go.
I don't have a normal sponsor today. Instead, I wanted to talk about my own stuff.
Yeah.
I have a merch store, and
Yay.
I don't advertise it a ton, even though I always have it in my little slap title card and down there in the description. But it's getting pretty expansive, and I think it might be a good time to talk about it. So many of you might know I used to be called Bricky Orchid 8. I am a beautiful orchid, an old Microsoft generated Xbox 360 Live username. I changed it to just Bricky because everyone just called me Bricky, and the Orchid 8 part I actually turned into my merch store, and I just recently got a major office for it, more employees. It's really expanding, kind of crazy, and we're offering a ton more stuff since the last time I ever advertised it. There's a ton of designs going over a myriad of things. There's a bunch of original designs like the crest tee or hoodie that says thick thighs save lives in Latin. Very proud of that one. You may have seen the life is hard but that's okay shirt I wear sometimes, and there's some that are legally distinct and based on things I really enjoy, like Outer Wilds, one of the best games ever made. I have a really awesome shirt that I like for that one. But not only that, we're actually going really hard into dice and prints. I sell actual physical dice that have the word POG on the 6 and also the twerking Among Us crewmates on the 6 as well. And I sell prints, and not like poster paper prints, because poster paper prints aren't good enough quality. We're talking like full on 280 semi-gloss. It's the paper that does like the when you shake it. That it's actual thick ass good photo paper prints. And we have just a brand new one that came out literally this month, which is a little pink bear mascot bee sleeping in this gorgeous thing of fall flowers. It's November, come on, this is the time to have it. And for those of you who are Warhammer people, I have a ton of merch from Adeptus Ridiculous, the podcast, link in the description as well. There's a whole lot now for the store, and I would really like it if you gave it a look. It's orchid8.com. Check out the description, check out whatever you need to do. It's really been a blast doing it. I wear my own stuff a lot, which might sound narcissistic, but it's really goddamn comfortable. Why would I ever buy shirts and hoodies that I wouldn't want to wear myself? I don't know. It seems weird to me. So anyway, if you've already bought something from the store, a recommendation from you down in the comments would be really appreciated for those who haven't. And
guys, links will be in the description below.
Yeah, give it a look-see. Okay, all right, I'm done with that now. Let's go into the Orcs.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. My name is Bricky, currently leading the Brick-Taker Git Crumpa Wah across the solar system. Shootas, Blood, and Teef is objectively the best name for an orc video game on the market right now. It also won my heart with this hilarious trailer and demo that came out earlier this year. It's a Warhammer game, and since
why don't I know more about this? I'm about to find out. I'm about to love it.
I am John Warhammer. I might as well give it a shot, you know? A warning, there are spoilers in this video, but it's nothing that you should really concern yourself with. But if you want to go in super blind, I get it, but don't worry too much. I'm going to be going through the game very similar to my Uncharted video, so you have been warned. Loading up the game, I got the chance to set up my orc in a variety of colors based on orc clans and appearances based on orc units. The Storm Boys, Weird Boys, Goths, Evil Sons, Bad Moons, so on and so forth. Then we get to the opening explaining the story of the game, and well, it sure is a story about orcs.
The humans call this place Lutius. Lutius. Stupid name. Stupid humans. The humans been drilling for the gold juice here for ages. Pumping it out, sticking it in their battle wagons to make them go through. Now we want it for our wagons. Make them go through instead.
As you can see, this game knows what it's trying to be. That's your overall story, but it's not the real story. Because, yeah, orcs might want to crump and get resources, but to make it a real orc story, it's gotta be personal.
That hair squeak is snazzy. ain't it, Gargans? I reckon he'd look more snazzy on my end. What are you doing?
No.
Hori's the boss, so I get to
No.
smash his face.
Don't take his hair, Squig.
I'm having this.
Not his hair, Squig. Not the hair, Squig.
So you're Gargaz, an orc boy, and your damn boss, Gut Ripper, just stole
Not the
your
hair,
Squig. Now, if you're not familiar with Warhammer, orcs don't have hair. They have animals called squigs that serve a variety of functions, and one of those functions is hair. Listen, dude, they're...
It's so stupid. It's the dumbest thing I've ever... Well, when I was researching, or when I was, learning about orcs, learning about orcs for the first time, when I found out that was the case, I just literally just stared at the book I was reading for like 2 minutes, and then I went to the bathroom and I looked in the mirror and I said orcs until I got it.
There is a canon story in Warhammer about an orc that goes back in time to kill himself so that he can have 2 copies of his favorite gun.
Grizz Guts, 5-ish minute lore, go check that out.
Okay, don't worry about it. So the main objective of the story is to get back to the boss and get your hair back.
Yeah.
I'm also a little disappointed I didn't have a Keep sponsorship for this video. The point is that when the orcs are on screen, this is a proper orc game. The cutscenes are a highlight and they are consistently excellent. So the gameplay of Shootas, Blood, and Teef is a lot like your Metal Slug and Castle Crasher style game. You have a variety of weapons, all of them with ammo capacities, but with overall unlimited ammo. You start with a simple arsenal of orc boy weapons. We're talking a shooter, a slugger, and a big old melee weapon. But over time, you'll gather 5 different ranged weapons, including, and you better spell this correctly, the rocket launcher, the boomstick, the burner, and more.
Yes.
This also is accompanied by your dedicated wah button, which represents the green beneath your health bar, of course.
My
When
God.
activated, you'll become invulnerable and fire whatever weapons you are holding at an extremely rapid speed. Other than that, you have a dash, a double jump, a crouch, and that's about it. This gameplay is simple because
A crouching orc is actually quite terrifying to me. I don't know why, but the concept of something that big, stupid, and driven by absolute rage and stupidity concerns me if it's crouching.
combat is simple because orcs are simple. Don't overcomplicate this with all those humy mechanics.
Yeah.
Use an orc. You fight like one. Starting off, you tend to fight either other orcs, naturally, or the Imperium of Man, mainly guardsmen. The guardsmen are also played like
That
an orc would
sucks.
see them, basically as a bunch of doofus nerds.
For the Emperor!
Throughout the gameplay, you will also gather Teef. Lots and lots of Teef. Teef are, of course, currency for orcs. I don't know
Yes.
why I say of course, as if this is common knowledge. Yeah, Teef are teeth, and teeth is currency. You
If you didn't know this, you're about to find out.
can use this Teef to purchase new weapons from the mech boy at his shop located at every single checkpoint. Each gun slot has 3 new weapons you can buy. This can be a looted human plasma.
Okay, so a little bit about teeth, okay? Orcs grow their teeth back at an astonishing rate, and that is legitimately orc currency. And if you're running short of cash, you can always go punch someone in the mouth and get more currency. Orcs.
Pistol, giant laser beams, looted bolters, a giant saw as a gun, and
Oh,
more. And
come
don't
on,
forget,
I want
if
that.
you shoot the plasma pistol too much, it overheats and damages you. Nobody can forget the exploding plasma pistol. So you make your way through the Imperium,
And it's a looted plasma pistol, so there you go.
killing everything here and killing everything there, dealing with the occasional kill 'em all section, and find your way to, of course, the most important part of any game, the orc band.
Yes!
Hit it! Since in orc law, now that you've killed the boss, you are now the boss, and you get to lead your own army of orcs to get back at Gut Rekka for once again stealing your hair squig. This
Yes.
leads you to fighting more of the Imperium and increasing the enemy variety in a great way. You have company
Lovely.
commanders, commissars, rattling snipers, Ogren, a fucking Lehman Russ Punisher tank, and you blast your way through all of them. A note.
Can you loot the tank, though, is the question. Can you loot the tank and then put a grot on it singing? I just want to know. Celine Dion songs, preferably, just for the extra ridiculousness. But can you do it?
Really like the background memes here. Purge the unclean for washing your hands. Sisters in arms. There's a lot of good little Easter eggs scattered about. But Easter eggs be gone. It's time for our first major boss. And the realization that even though this is an orc game, I should not expect canon to even come close to this title.
No. It's the Bane Blade!
A single orc boy are about to take on a Bane Blade. 11 barrels of hell, which they don't fire at the same time because, you know, video game. But that's when I realized, yeah, okay, this is gonna be shenanigans. It's a pretty neat fight. The Bane Blade uses a lot of its weapons and they all have different effects. Even more so when you blow off its turret and it tries to ram you with a very classic, get me closer, I want to hit them with my sword.
Yes.
There is one thing that has me annoyed though, and it isn't the biggest deal, but it really bugs me in this game.
Why?
Right when you finish a level or kill a boss fight, there is no ending delay. Like, just to let the music fade out or give some time to relax. Instead, the screen goes instant to loading screen and then instant out of loading screen, either to cutscene or gameplay again. It's just, it's really jarring and it kills the pacing massively. I know it's a random thing, but let me just show you a completely unedited example.
All right. That is kind of jarring.
Like, you see what I mean, right? The pacing is so off, and it does this all the time. It needs a little bit of a cooldown, or at least not double up the transitions, going from gameplay to loading screen, then gameplay or cutscene. Just...
They're coming for your gene seed.
Kind of jarring. It's a nitpick. It's like a major nitpick, but it's just, it's noticeable.
Fine.
So you move on to the next area, and the environment has most certainly changed a little bit, as have the enemies. Looks like Lutius has already had a major problem on their hands to start with. The entire next area is mostly Gene Stealer cults, and all of the crazy paraphernalia that comes with them. The enemy variety is enhanced too. There are your classic neophytes, and then just infected guardsmen, but you'll find hybrids that have their third arm throwing demo charges, or you'll have a Sanctus that's this really fast stabby type, and of course there's got to be an aberrant in there somewhere. Bosses include your classic Gene Stealer, you know, the titular, a Biophagus, which is a pretty fun one. But of course, as we all know with Gene Stealer cults, there's always a patriarch, and it is responded to exactly.
Every time I sit there and start to say patriarch, I say Primarch. Tell me conditioning isn't a thing.
How you would expect.
You trespass in the tabernacle of the All-Seeing Emperor. Prepare to die.
Okay.
The Patriarch fight is probably the best fight in the game. It's still very simple as all the gameplay here is, but I enjoy it a lot for a multitude of reasons. Firstly, I like the background design. You can see the effigies hanging from the ceiling and all the candles with the big old statue in the back. It's very neat. Secondly, the Patriarch moves quite quickly and fires these little homing sight missiles at you. So you're playing both.
Okay, my immersion is ruined. This orc is not baiting things with an axe. My immersion is ruined.
Run away from the big stabby monster and also run away from the homing attacks at once. And lastly, the Patriarch will scurry away and let its conclave deal with you for a bit, which I think breaks up the action and makes it actually really fun. Now, it's not my favorite boss in the game, but it's one that I think should be looked at more if this game ever receives updates or DLC. You run away, you fight 2 Gene Stealers, and well...
Yes. Good man. Good man.
The next bit has you fighting a combination of the cult and the Imperium. More enemies are added, like the Bullgrin with their gauntlets and big old slab shields. And hey, you even get to fight a full-on Sentinel, which is shocking to me since this is later in the game. It's a later boss fight, and you've already taken out a motherfucking Bane Blade.
Yeah, that's kind of
but that's okay, because right after this you're dealing with something scarier than a Sentinel by far. The Space Marines are here. White Scars in particular. Good choice, I say.
They're kind of slow for White Scars.
Might as well have the fast Marines to go along with it. Honestly, the Space Marines though, they're not that tough. They're tougher than some of the singular enemies in the game. You're just so incredibly busted as a singular orc, they aren't that frightening. Now, if they populated the game and there were a ton of Space Marines, okay, they'd be a little bit of a threat, but they only throw a couple of them at you, and they aren't really that much of a challenge. Which is too bad, because like they're space marines.
Yes.
You did kill a Baneblade, though. Though they do find a middle ground because you're now fighting Tempestus Scions that actually are quite a threat in numbers. They're tankier, hit harder, and can sometimes carry plasma guns. And turns out I was wrong. The Khan is back, and you get to take down a White Scars chaplain and his squad, which I have to say, just looking at the chaplain walking around with his little Crozius all stubby-like and trying to whack you with it, it's pretty adorable. It's very silly. I like it a lot. Combat in the war room is strictly prohibited. Commissar Strangelove.
Really?
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Turns out, just like the tabletop, the Invicta Tactical War Suit dies to a swift breeze. That's too bad. But honestly, this is all filler. This is all prep work. This is all just a gathering of strength, like a gathering of power, a gathering of will for the true fight, the real climax of this game. It's time for the #1 reason to even buy this game.
Bring it to me. Yes.
Attention, Orc! You face Lord Horic Canorum, son of High King Valeric Canorum, High Prince of House Canorum, Master of the Blade of Gaia, Keeper of the Gates of Loralo, Wielder of the Caloric Flame, Bringer of Hope, Herald of the Holy Order of the Adamantine Lance, the Paladin of Koto, Slayer of the Lion of Essa, the Triumphant, the Light of Stars, the Eradicator. You are? I am Lord Horic Canorum, son of High... Whatever.
Lord Horic Canorum, son of High King of Valeric Canorum, High Prince, etc., is one of the most batshit ideas I've thought of for an Orc game, or I've seen for an Orc game. Someone thought of for this Orc game. Having a single Orc take down a Knight Valiant, which by the way, good choice, that's my favorite Knight, whose flamethrower, the Conflagration Cannon, can melt a Lehman Rust tank to sludge, is so absolutely ridiculous that it's only offset by that absolutely bopping soundtrack.
Guys, Orcs. Orcs. That's all I have to say, Orcs. This could be canon for all we know.
Rip that shit!
Yes. Yes. Yes, I am for it. I am for this. Oh, come on. That's awesome. Missiles.
Lord Horic is not the best fight in the game, but it is the most hype. There are two main issues with it. The first is that even though it took me far too long than I like to admit to figure this part out, all you gotta do is hide behind the boxes when he attacks you. That is really the entire fight, more or less. Block the melt-a-gun, dodge the flamer, dodge the harpoon. The missiles are really the only thing you need to think about, because they home in on you. The second main issue is, come on, why didn't you put the entire subtitle on his health bar? Like,
that would have literally been the best thing ever. Just this massive scree of text. I would have loved it.
Literally, if you put it over the health bar and you even obscured the health bar with just lines of text, I wouldn't have minded it at all. It sucks that it's just Lord Horic. It should absolutely be the whole thing. Stick to your guns, maintain the meme.
Yes.
And hey, I'm just saying, when you kill him, he like explodes a little bit before they go jarringly into loading screen again, but he could still be in there. If you're gonna make DLC, bring him back. Bring him back. And then like do the whole thing. Come on. This is my favorite boss fight though, just because it's so ridiculous and it's still fun, even if the actual gameplay loop is a bit generic overall. Still, it's just not often you get to watch an Orc bash down a Knight Valiant of all things.
Yeah.
But I give them props for a lore accurate Knight pilot.
Knight pilots truly are that egotistical. Especially the leaders of lances. They are ridiculously egotistical.
Knights are the most proper, pristine heralds of the goodwill of mankind. And they will shout their deeds to the it's that entire monologue. Cheesy, sure. Lore accurate, a little bit. a little bit. If we're being truly honest, the knight would have just killed him. But however, maybe it's not that strange of a thought process. I mean, have you ever read Brutal Cunning? Which
Brutal Cunning, finally. Okay, Brutal Cunning is one of my favorite books in Warhammer 40k. It's written from the perspective of orcs. If you want to see some absolute shenanigans, Brutal Cunning is the book for you. 100%. It is literally one of the best books I've ever read. Hands down. I put it up there right next to Tolstoy's War and Peace.
2 orcs, a grot, and a squig.
Yes.
Kill the warlord titan.
Yes.
You know, one of those things they show in the Horus Heresy trailer. That's a good book. I'd recommend. The final section of this game is, of course, naturally in an orc game against other orcs. You make your way on Gut Wrecka's ship and begin just blasting it up. You fight all manner of orcs, kill cans, and even defy the laws of physics as the spaceship is open to the vacuum of space, which you, of course, use to float.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you?
Because orcs. The final
Because
boss
orcs!
fight against Gut Wrecka, it's a bit of a disappointment. All you do is jump up and you shoot him in the face on top of his giant stompa, in which the stompa opens up and then you shoot its stomach, and you rinse and repeat that like 3 times. It's probably the weakest fight in the game, which sucks because it's the final boss of the game. I expected him to like jump out and fight me on foot or something, but no, it's just
punk.
It's just this. You defeat him though, you take your hair squig back, then you lead your own wah in his stead, and that's the game. You spend your teeth on various new hats in the store and all that, which, you know, if I learned anything from TF2, hats are the true end game. And it might surprise you that it's already over, but yeah, that's the entire campaign. I beat it on normal mode in 1 sitting, and it took me only around 2 to 3 hours. This normally wouldn't be a problem for me because it actually like a pretty good 2 to 3 hours, and minus the weird loading screens, it was paced really well. But the game is $20. There also is really nothing else to do after beating the campaign. You can play with friends, I guess, again, but you're still just playing it again.
Yeah.
Hello, this is Future Bricky. After playing the game and go through the whole thing, I decided to also throw a little bit of a gameplay thing together for a stream with Adiptus Ridiculous. Actually compiled the video for it as well. You can check that out in the description. But let's just say the co-op experience was not as good as the single player one. It was horribly buggy. Some things are funny, like the explosive friendly fire you can have. I think maybe it's not necessarily friendly fire.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
But we encountered a ludicrously large amount of bugs, DK, Diamantes.
I jumped.
My co-host crashed about 4 or 5 times in the
That
2.5 hours it took us to play it. I shoved Lord Horic off the goddamn map, among many other weird things that happened. So another good disclaimer to add that. Yeah, can be a bit rough in the multiplayer part of it, which is unfortunate because I imagine that would be one of the better ways to play it if that wasn't the case. Also, check out Dev's Ridiculous. We do Warhammer podcast stuff. Woo, goodbye. It's just extremely content light overall. It's a fun game for sure, but it's done so incredibly fast that you wonder if it really felt like it was worth the price tag for a shorter runtime than Avengers Endgame. And depending on the theater you go to, costing more than the ticket for that movie. It's hard to justify its price tag, no matter how enjoyable those 2 to 3 hours were. When I go to my Steam page and see fucking Hollow Knight for $15, and I mean, sure, maybe it's unfair to compare it to Hollow Knight, an incredibly good game, but it is still a price per game.
Okay, games like this, they don't like games like this. These 2D's almost side scrollers. They don't really appeal to me that much. I think it's because I grew up with them so much. I don't know, but Shootas and Teef looks fun. But in any case, here we go.
Same thing. It's up to you. Sure, I think it's better suited as a clean $10. If it had another 1 to 2 hours of content, maybe, but right now I don't think I can recommend it at its price point, which is disappointing because it's still a lot of fun. The voice acting is hilarious and accurate to the lore. The mood is fun, the gameplay is fun, and the soundtrack is genuinely great. So it just doesn't reach a $20 price tag for 2 to 3 hours of gameplay, which is too bad because 40K games are often pretty shit. This one isn't shit. I guess it wouldn't be a Warhammer title if they didn't overcharge you. Thanks, Jay.
He took the shot that I was thinking about.
Games Workshop.
Now I have to go give Codex Zotes an army-wide 2+ invulnerable save.
Shootas, Blood, and Teef. It's a really fun time. I liked it a lot. $20 though. Not sure about that. If you're doing financially sound, you just don't care, you want to play an orc game, have at it. I've spent a hell of a lot more money on tiny little plastic figures, so truly I'm not quite sure how much of a say I get in this, but I'm letting you know. Thank you all so much for watching this video, everybody. Please do give my merch store a check. Check out some of the prints, posters, shirts, hoodies, everything in between. There's tons there that I would love to have you buy. Give me money. So I have multiple orc-based questions, which is good. Which is your favorite orc unit on the tabletop? That would either be the Death Dread, or perhaps I like Birda Boys a lot. No, Commandos. It has to be Commandos. Okay. It has to be Commando. I love Commandos. They're so fun. If you had to join any of the orc clans, which would you pick?
Moth.
Blood Axes. I like Blood Axes. They're really good. What is the best orc book that you'd recommend? At the moment, I'd probably say Brutal Cunning. Yeah, Brutal Cunning's probably the best orc book I'd go with. The Gaskell book is pretty good too, but I think Brutal Cunning hits it out just a bit more. I would recommend that one. Thank you, everyone. I'm sorry this didn't come out in Orctober, but you know, I tried. And we're gonna have lots of videos in November and December because there's a lot of games coming out. So you'll see.
Guys, that was Shootas, Blood, and Teef, and I agree with him on the price point extremely. I'm just not, I don't play that many games anymore. Like, I have a set amount of games that I do play. It's kind of hard to get me into another one. It is just what it is, guys. But, one thing that I do like, anything orcs, anything done with orcs in mind and portraying orcs, I absolutely love. It's an automatic win for me. If it was $10, I'd be looking for it right now, just to sit there and see if I could go ahead and get it. Because I don't play games like that, but I would play that for just sheer comedic value. Guys, oh man. Just imagine a game where, like, I've often been saying they need to make a Dark Eldar survival sim, and it would immediately be, like, the most, it would in concept art hit a mature rating, okay? It would hit a mature rating within instantaneously of them talking about any kind of the plot. But I want my Dark Eldar survival sim. In any case, guys, all of Bricky's links are going to be in the description down below. Go check him out. Check out the Adeptus Ridiculous podcast. I can't watch it because if I do one day when you guys sit there and say, hey, check this out, old man, I will be skinned alive. Warpugs, thank you for watching. Check the link down below if you'd like to support the channel. One of the best ways and easiest ways to do this, just hit the like button, leave a comment down below. If you'd like to support the other means, I have my own merch down below, made by Valk, and I have a Patreon. I will catch you guys next time.